guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. So today I'm here to check in for the first week of March. So in these weekly check-ins, I always like to take a look at what we've spent so far for the month, compare that to my budget, and really put together a game plan for continuing to stick to our budget as much as possible. So I'm in a different place. Hopefully the lighting and everything is okay. Jason's cutting stuff in the other room, but I wanted to get this filmed so that I can get it up later tonight and also start working on some listings because I have a ton of icons going up on Wednesday, which is when you guys are watching this. So if you want to check out the One Page Wednesday and icons, those are going to be up the same time this video is up. So let's start with groceries. So the categories that I always track for my weekly check-in are groceries, eating out, household, gas for our cars, and then anything that may be unbudgeted. So let's go ahead and take a look at our monthly view. This is where I keep track of all of my transactions. So groceries are going to be in green, eating out is going to be in this orange color, gas is going to be in black, and then household is in this tan. So we're going to start with all of the groceries, and we've had a lot of transactions. We've been really trying to not only eat healthier, but also not eat out as much. And so with that becomes a lot of grocery expenses. So let's start with the first time that we recorded anything. So we spent $48.95 at Woodman's, and then $72.82 at Costco. We got a refund from Woodman's. That was $3.52. Jason actually returned something. And then we spent another $14.57 at Woodman's. I also paid for Macy's Hot Lunch for the month, so that was $48. And then we spent another $14.57 at Woodman's. And actually, now that I'm thinking about that, I wonder if that's a duplicate. I'm gonna leave it for now, but I'm gonna have to check and see. And then $4.22 at Walmart, and then $4.59 at Home Depot, $37.30 at Woodman's, and then $91.35 at Aldi. So that brings us to a total of $332.85. So groceries, $332.85. We budgeted $700 for the month, so that means that we have $367.15 remaining. $367.15 remaining. And I like to take a look at this in terms of how many more weeks we have left. So we have 1, 2, 3 more weeks left. So divide that by 3. That means we have roughly 122.38 per week going forward. And just to give you an idea, we do budget $175 per week when we're doing our like monthly budget. So that is like $50 less per week going forward. I think a huge factor of that is just, again, we're eating at home a lot more. In the past, we would eat out like all weekend, and now we're trying to eat at home more. With that being said, we do have a pretty good stockpile of food in our freezer and fridge. So I'm hoping that the grocery shopping is like less, at least for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's how it goes. It's like if you eat out more, then your groceries are less. If you're not eating out, then your groceries are up and your eating out is lower. So it is what it is, but yeah. Next we're going to do eating out. So we had 2 transactions for eating out. We got pizza by us. That was $13.63. And then we went to Benihana and spent $97.72. So that brings us to a total of $111.35 for eating out. We do budget $300 for eating out, so that brings us to a total remaining of $188.65. And again, I like to take a look at the number of weekends we have left. So we have 1, 2, 3 weekends left. Divide that by 3, and we have roughly $63 per week going forward for eating out. So not too bad. I feel like that's a pretty good amount, even considering the like larger eating out expense that we had. I talked in more detail about the Benihana trip, but it was definitely a lot more expensive than we were imagining when we decided to go. And then for household expenses, those are going to be in this tan color. So we spent $12 at Costco, $8 at Walmart, and then another $8.44. That brings us to a total of $28.44. We did budget $150, so we have $121.56 remaining, and I don't take a look at that in terms of the number of weeks we have remaining because we don't purchase things on a weekly basis for household. Funny thing about this is, so me and Jason are pretty big with Macy about like, okay, if you want something and it's not like a birthday or holiday, then you have to do chores, and it's like chores that are above what she's normally required to do. Like she's expected to clean up after herself. She's expected to clean her room. She obviously has to do her homework and stuff. So in addition to those things, she can like clean up all the toys in the basement. She can like help mop the floors. She can clean like mirrors or windows, like things like that. We're really big on like, if you want something, then you need to work for it. I feel like it's important. As a child, like I remember really wanting boots as like, I was probably 8 or like between 8 and 10. I really wanted these boots from a store called Roses in North Carolina. I really wanted these boots. They were like $10. They were not very expensive, but they were also not like something that I absolutely needed. Like they weren't gym shoes. I feel like as a kid, I always wore gym shoes. I wanted these cute boots, and my parents were like, if you want them, you can work for them. And so I collected cans. I went around everywhere and collected cans, and I eventually, I don't remember how long it took, but I feel like I was pretty aggressive with it. I pulled enough cans to get my $10, and I think my sister was doing it too, so we might have had to get enough for $20. But regardless, I did that so I could buy the boots, and then I got the boots. And so I'm kind of doing something similar with the girls. Like obviously Mila doesn't understand yet, but with Macy, I think it's really important that she learns that if you want something, especially if it's not something that you absolutely need, that you should work for it. And again, it's like, it's nothing too crazy. I give her plenty of opportunities to make money. Regardless, we're really big on that. But she had 2 gift cards that she got over Christmas and her birthday to Claire's. And she loves Claire's, but we also recognize that Claire's is pretty expensive. I don't remember it being as expensive when I was a kid, but maybe it was. But she has been wanting to go to Claire's for a while, and Mila was sick this past weekend. Like she was throwing up. So we need to get Macy out of the house because it's not fair to have her like sitting in the house, like just relaxing because Mila's sick. So Jason took her a couple places, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I want to go to the mall and try on some clothes. So if you want, you can get your like Claire's gift cards, and we can go ahead and you can like try and find something, because again, it's her money. She got it as a present. So I took her, and I know this is a long story, but regardless, I took her and I was like, okay, this is how much you have. The gift cards both had like the amounts that they had on them. And one had 10 and then one had 20. So I'm like, okay, you have $30. So she found this cute little makeup palette that had like a bunch of eyeshadow and lip gloss. She's really into that right now. And she wanted to use her money for that. And again, it's her gift. So I'm like, okay, sounds good. You have enough to get this. And we went to check out. The $10 gift card only had like $2 on it. I don't know how that happened, who gave her a gift card that had the wrong amount, but I felt so bad that, like, you know, obviously she was being really conscious about just getting something with the amount that she had. So anyway, I ended up using $8.44 to cover the lost amount that her gift card was supposed to have. Again, she works pretty hard for the extra things that she gets, and when someone gives you a gift card and you think that you have $10 on it, it kind of stinks when it's not really $10. So anyway, I decided to just use household money for that because I felt really bad and I didn't want to be like, nope, you can't get it. Like, you know, someone told you they gave you $10, but they only gave you like $2 on this. So regardless, yeah, I don't know what happened with that situation. I don't know if it was like a gift card that someone gave to her after they've already used part of it, but I didn't want to like completely devastate her because she's been saving, like it's been 2 solid months of her like holding on to this gift card, waiting for like a good time to go, and I just didn't want to make it a bad experience. So anyway, long story short, next we're gonna move on to gas. So we spent $40.99 on the RAV4. And then we spent $25.98 on the Prius for gas. So that brings us to a total spent of $66.97. I believe I budgeted $200 for gas. So that means that we have, 200 minus 66.97. We have $133.03 remaining. The gas for the Prius ended up being for a trip that Macy and Jason took to go skiing. So if our gas is over this month, I know that part of that was because of that like little trip. They just went to a local place by us. It's like 3 hours away, but regardless, it did end up being like a $25 charge on the card. So our gas bill came in, that was $122.48, so I was $2.52 under budget, which is nice. A lot of my other expenses will not come out for a while, but that one did. And then for sinking funds, I did close out my sinking funds off camera the last time that I did it, and we have a lot of negative numbers here. So my thought is we'll just keep replenishing them, but I've also considered that when we do our taxes, which I'm hoping to do like fairly soon, and when we get the refund, because we will get a refund, we usually do, I'm going to apply some of that refund to our sinking funds just to true them up, because I feel like I could like pull savings and replenish them, but I don't like doing that. I feel like a lot of this just has to do with like timing of stuff, but we'll kind of see. Depending on how our tax appointment goes and all of that, I may like in the end of March or beginning of April, I may like just make all of these positive by using some of our refund. It won't take much. Activities were just over because we signed Macy up for cheer and I didn't realize how expensive it was going to be. And then like the clothes, that's stuff that like will be trued up pretty quickly. Home maintenance was the biggest thing because we got hit with like a heater issue and a garage issue. So again, a lot of them are small, but there's 2 that are bigger, and I would love for those to like be positive again. So I'm going to just wait, see what we get for a refund, and then true it up using some of that. So in terms of our sinking funds, I've gotten some questions about what's the difference between a transaction log and a spending tracker. So I'm actually using both this month. So here's a transaction log. This is what I'm using for my sinking funds. And basically here you see category, and these are all different categories that relate to my sinking fund. So my idea is the transaction log is to track sinking fund transactions. The spending tracker is a little bit different. It's more to track like your variable expenses if you want to do that. I'm using it as a spending tracker for my personal like cash that I get for myself, my allowance. So I'm using it a little different. I have a starting balance, and then I'm just like, so the starting balance is 160, and then I'm just subtracting out every time I spend money on stuff. It's always food for me, food or books. I'm telling you guys, I feel like I've been really good, but still always food and books. So again, there's not a huge difference. I would say the biggest difference here is that you have a balance on this side for the spending tracker. So if you want to keep track of something and like know what the ending balance is, that would be good. But the other thing is the description. I like having the description for my sinking fund so I know what I'm spending for all of these categories. So little explanation there. So Jason and Macy are going skiing at the end of the month, and they're going to be going to Colorado with Jason's family. So we picked up some skis for Macy. That was $95. I took it out of our entertainment sinking fund because that's kind of like entertainment and vacation. If we rented skis for Macy, we would have had to take it out of this category anyway. And Jason has used a lot of his own allowance to purchase skis for himself, like skis, boots, all of that. So luckily, we're not having to spend any money on that, but it is kind of this thing where it's like, we'll buy it now, but then we'll get to use it for many, many years, and Mila will be able to use Macy's skis eventually, so I feel like it works out that way. I spent $66.83 from my clothes sinking fund. I purchased some stuff from Amazon, so I'm still waiting on one item, but I did receive one today. Jason changed a light bulb in my Prius, so that was $8.11 that came out of car maintenance. Jason took Macy to Urban Air. It's a trampoline place by us. That was $22.99 out of entertainment. He also spent $5.50 at Urban Air for a snack for her. He went with a bunch of his friends and their kids, so that worked out nicely. And then we have a bunch of ski stuff for Macy and Jason. They went on Monday when she had the day off. So $5.71 at McDonald's, $14.67 was at McDonald's as well. They got like something small for breakfast and then something on the way back for dinner. That was $14.67. $100 for lift tickets. And then we did finally get Jason's heart appointment medical bills. The total was $363.09, so I just paid that today. There were some issues with like our address, and so we finally got the bill and I finally paid it. But Jason will have another heart appointment coming up in the summertime, so we will have to spend the same amount in like July or so. So it's just something good to know, to keep in the back of my head. For medical, we have $320 in that sinking fund. So at the end of the month, we'll be $40 over, which is fine. Again, we'll just add in more money in April, but I just wanted to mention that. I do always keep track of that, even though it may not seem like I do. I feel like recently we've just had a lot of sinking fund items. But please keep in mind that like everything here that's negative, if I wanted to today, I could just transfer money in and make it positive. We have the money in our savings. It's not that. It's more of just, I feel like eventually what's going to happen is all of the stuff is going to be funded. And so I'd rather just kind of wait it out. Again, once taxes come, I will probably just replenish them all, just especially like the bigger ones, just because it's annoying to see. But yeah, that is how our week went. Again, if you want to keep an eye out for the One Page Wednesday and for the icons, definitely do that. I'm going to be heading home right now to do all the listings for those. There's so many, so it's going to take me a while, but I hope you guys enjoyed this little weekly check-in. Let me know how you guys are doing for the week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.